Hello and welcome. So this is the beginning of the March, my birthday month, 3-day live series where I'm going to be walking you through my signature framework, the work method, but this is definitely focused on social selling. So hello everyone. I'll wave to you guys as you come in. So if you are someone who is an entrepreneur on Instagram, you're really out here trying to make things happen, this live series is for you. And before I get too deep into it, my name is Alana. I am a creativity and embodiment coach. And I especially work with creators, coaches, and service providers. So if that's you, you are in the right place. Even if it's not, you can still get some out of this if you're trying to sell some on Instagram. So stick with me. But before I get into it, this live series, like I said, is going to be a 3-parter. So this is day 1. I know people are going to be rolling in here, so I won't get too deep into it yet. I'll give you guys some time, but this is day 1. So for this first day, I'm going to be going over why your Instagram account is struggling, like what you can probably be doing better. And the point of today is I'm going to give you the 5 mistakes that you're making with your content, because that's probably the reason why it isn't converting. So stay tuned for that. But day 2 of the live series will actually be next Tuesday, same time, and day 3 will be next Thursday, same time, so a week from now. So that gives you guys plenty of time. And just so you know up front, again, there is a workbook for this live series. The link is at my bio. If you don't have it already, you don't need it for today, but you'll definitely want it for day 2 and day 3, because I'm going to be giving you guys some like extra stuff that goes along with what's in the workbook. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into it. So with this live series, I made it a little bit different. If you've been to one of them before, I usually do a 3-part live series, like at least once a quarter. But this one, I had a particular person in mind. And these are who I call my best kept secrets. So there are a lot of people that I either know from Instagram or in real life, and they are like literally the best kept secret. Like they do something amazing, whether they're like a creative, like they sing, they perform, they make something with their hands, if they like have a service for people, if they're a coach, if they're just like super knowledgeable about something, they're just like I call them a best kept secret because nobody knows about them. They're on Instagram, they're creating great content, or they're like too stuck in their head about it, which we'll get into today. But I call them best kept secrets because they are kind of like collecting dust like on the corner of the Instagram shelves. And I'm like, girl, we gotta blow you off. We gotta get you out here. So little story, and if you haven't been to my lives before, I'd like to tell stories. So little story about this, because I went to a birthday party. It's March. It's literally everybody's birthday every day. I was at a birthday party on Saturday talking to one of my friends who is what I would call a best kept secret, literally in tears, because I was like, you're so amazing. You're so wonderful. You need to do more of the things that you do and just do them in front of everybody. And she was like, she's looking at me. She's like, Alana, I know you're a crybaby, but damn, we're like in the middle of a party. And this is a party I kind of sort of know the girl who birthday it is. I know no one else there. So I'm just the girl in the middle, like next to all the drinks. So where everybody is crying, but I don't mind. I am a crybaby, so that happens. But the point of this is, so the guidebook that you can get at the link, it's called The Creative Entrepreneur Unleashed. So this is really an opportunity for you to evaluate what it is that you're doing, see where you can make pivots, and really unleash that creative energy that you have. Because like I said, I'm a creativity and embodiment coach. I want you guys to embody that creative energy. And it was funny. It's funny, my friend Bobby came in here because she posted something about the word creative yesterday. And I was like, I feel that same way. Like the word creative has gotten watered down and kind of like tarnished. I'm like, we gotta do something about that. We are creators. We are the movers and shakers of the world. We need to take a stand. So what this live series will do is move you from that best kept secret energy over into the flourishing creative energy. So unleashing that creative energy, really stepping into your voice, your message, making your offers, creating content that resonates with people. It's not collecting dust on the shelves no more. It's like really getting out there. So the points that I'm going to make, at least for today, were from an email that I sent out to my list yesterday. And I asked them, hey, you guys, I'm going to be doing my live series. You guys know how I get down. Give me questions and I will answer them for you. So if you are here, if you are a person who has ever wondered the following things, and if you saw my post from earlier about this, you probably read these. So This is straight from the mouths of babes. So how do I start growing the right kind of audience? Because there is a difference. I know my audience, because I talk about it a lot, they know that difference. So how do I grow the right kind of audience? How do I turn followers into customers? Big one. And social selling series, you're in the right place. How do I grow my authority when I'm just starting? That's a good question. Why is the algorithm a hater? That sounds like someone who is fed up. And why is the thought of Instagram giving me anxiety? And that's something that I've definitely dealt with a lot of my clients, like way back in the past to recent times. The idea of Instagram can often feel like I don't know what to post. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to these people. I definitely don't want to sell them anything. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to take our time. We're going to feel into it, and we're going to do the things. So this is what I want you guys to get out of this, like the whole series, not just today. Today, I will say, trigger warning. I'm a person that I'm going to say what needs to be said so you can stop doing it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So yeah, I warned you up front. If you're not ready for that, then maybe exit stage left. But that's what we're going to do today. But overall in the series, I am going to teach you guys how to stop doing and worrying about like what it is that you're doing today so you can refocus. So even if it's like you don't know what to post, you can always pivot really quickly, because that is definitely like creator energy. Creator energy, when I think of it, it's like fiery. It's like, it's like sparks. But the thing is, are you going to keep the spark going, or are you going to blow it out? Like there's some, I'm going to do that a couple more times. I already a couple, but there is a difference. So I want you guys to be able to pivot, refocus, and like keep the energy going, because that's what creates consistency. And that's what really holds people up. It's like, I'm consistent. Uh-oh, see, head wrap. I put on my edge control because I'll be blowing my own edges back. But consistency is really something that you want to get in the habit of, and creating a habit of it is the only way that you keep it. So we will talk about that. Like I just said, that was my second point, but I jumped into it too quick. So being consistent also isn't about just posting just to be posting. There needs to be some sort of way that you are formulating things, which I call content strategy, that builds trust with your audience, because that's what you want to do. You want to build trust. You want to build a connection, because over the internet, if people are giving you their money, they need to trust that they're going to get what they paid for in return. So we're going to talk about that. 3 simple steps to create content that actually sells your product. So it's not you going and being like, oh, I need to sell something today. People are already primed for whatever it is that you're going to offer. So as soon as you say it, they're like, yeah, where's the link? Where can I get this? Or they're hitting you up before you even say anything about it. So we're going to be talking about that as well. And then day 3 is when we're putting it together, like creating an actual strategy. Because as you guys know, Instagram changes every other day. Like it's always something new going on. And the way I've talked about it to death, I am sick of Instagram falling behind TikTok. We were the original innovators, and we need to take our seat back at the top of the table, because all the pointing, we're going to stop it. This year, we're going to stop. No more pointing. You can dance a little bit if you can actually dance, but we're gonna move beyond that. And then at the end of the day, I just want you guys to work smarter, not harder. Talk about things that are actually relevant to your audience, and not just be spewing whatever is coming to mind, because that's going to make the difference. That's what's really going to deliver your message for you. So, like I said already, trigger warning. If you missed that, if you came a little late, I am going to be poking at things and being like, stop doing this. Like, this is not where your focus needs to be. This is not the problem. This is not no, like, don't even look over there anymore. Act like that girl does not exist. Yes, you know, Mika. So 5 mistakes you are making with your content. And the way I wanted to break this down is I want to go over the mistakes, because with mistakes, if you're doing something that is taking up your time and holding you back from actually seeing that progress, I got to get you to stop doing that before I give you more things to do. So I'm trying to save you some energy today, so you can be like, okay, Alana said, don't do that. Actually do this. Why am I doing that? What am I doing over here? So I want to save you that energy so you can use it elsewhere where it's going to be more useful. So let's get into it. Like I said, if you don't have the workbook, don't worry about today, but definitely get it before day 2, because today I'm just going to be dragging. So point number 1, I hope you guys are ready. Point number 1 is Posting fire content that's gorgeous and beautiful is not going to make anything better at all. Not whatsoever. I see a lot of gorgeous pages that are absolutely terrible. Like nothing is happening on them. They have like maybe the same followers they've always had. They have a couple and it's just not growing. But I can tell that that's happening because either there could be different things. Either they've put all their energy into making something gorgeous, but have no idea what gorgeous even means in relation to their audience, which goes in strategy. We'll talk about that on day 2. Or they're trying to emulate what they've already seen, which is what another one of my points that I want to make. But gorgeous, beautiful Instagram posts are not going to make a difference. They're not going to change anything for you. The problem is not in the way that your posts look, because I also see ugly, fugly posts that are getting amazing traction, great engagement, actual audiences, people who have their credit cards out ready to buy, because that's not the problem. So there is a belief that if you do have a prettier feed, things will happen. But the story that's going behind this is that if I do what she's doing, if I emulate this, if I do this, then I'll get those same results. And you don't know that that's the reason that they're having those results. That's something that you're putting in your head, that if this is the problem, this is what I need to do. I need to get a graphic designer. But I will say, if your graphics are ugly, definitely get a graphic designer if you can afford one. By all means, do it. But just know that without a strategy, that's not going to change anything. So that's what I really want you guys to think about more. Why am I posting the pretty things? What is it that this content is supposed to do for me? And how can I put that in my content, whether it's pretty or not? Because I tell you one thing, when I started doing these reels, I was like, it's not going to be pretty at first. I don't know what I'm doing. I know for one thing, I'm not going to point at the air, but there is a difference between trying something out, seeing what works, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and then actually putting it together. And it doesn't mean pretty content. Like, you can just have a lot. Okay, so instance, what's that dude's page? Justin LeBoy. He only has white backgrounds, black text. That page goes up because he knows the voice of his people. And that's a very trash reference, but I think he's actually kind of funny. So that's like something that I'm talking about. Like, know what people need, know how to deliver it, know how to get it in their hands, and then like give it to them. But we'll go into that on day 2. So with each of these points, I don't want to give you guys action steps today because, like I said, hi, Randy, baby. I don't want to give you guys action steps. I want to give you guys things to reflect on because we're trying to remove these blocks so you can actually move forward. But there is some reflection that has to take place so the block doesn't come up and we got to have this conversation again. So the reflection for point number 1, with having all the pretty pictures, all of the fantastic things, and making it look like you know what you're doing. What is it doing for you? So that's what these can be journal prompts. What is that doing for you actually? Does it make you feel better that everything looks really pretty? Because that's one thing. If it does make you feel better, then we can keep it. But we do need to tie that messaging to it and the strategy along with it. We can't just have, it's like having a pretty gorgeous car. I've been watching NASCAR a lot. Having a gorgeous car racing down the street, and there's no engine. Like, it's going down the street because it's going down a hill and it's about to crash and burn. So that's a horrible, dark reference that just came to mind. But that's how it feels when I see people do that. I'm like, you have so much potential. So much is there. But it's just not, there's no driver. There's no one behind the wheel. Point number 2. We're going to move through these pretty quickly because I want to kind of pull the punch back. I don't want to jam it too hard, at least not today. So point number 2, posting every day, multiple times a day, also changes nothing. If there is no strategy behind it, if there's no message behind it, if there's no connecting factor that is putting your values in reference with that person's values, saying, I want to see Alana post every day. I want to see what she has to say every second of the day. And usually for most of us, for entrepreneurs, we don't have that kind of time and we don't attract people with that kind of time unless that's your audience. But if that's your audience, fine, so be it. They're at home all day. They can consume your content all day. Usually that's for very young audiences or older audiences, like people who are retired or people who are stay-at-home moms. That's an audience that you can engage like at any point in the day. But then the kids who are just on their phones, they're always on their phone. You can get them at any point of day. But usually for most of us, our people are on the phone in the morning, maybe. If they have kids, maybe not. During their lunch break or after work before they do wine time. Before the wine bottle comes out, then maybe you could catch them. But anytime in between that, they are not worried about your 16 posts. And I'm saying 16 because this point came up because I was appalled at someone like me. Well, he's a guy. So guy marketing, and I cater to women. So women know guy marketing is a lot different. It's very abrasive. It's very in your face. It's very like da 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 da. This man was on this girl, one of my like Instagram friends. She was interviewing him on an Instagram live. And he was telling people they need to post 16 times a day. I was like, sir, get off of my phone. You won't be saying this in my house. I will not have my cat overhear these things. Absolutely not. You do not need to post 16 times a day. And then I went to his page after he said this. I was like, is this actually working for you? Go to his page. He has a good amount of followers because, well, he's been in the game for a minute. He has a good amount of followers. He's just hit, I think, like 10K. But he's getting like 5 likes per post. So I'm like, either you bought your followers or people are sick of your shit. They're like, I don't need you all day, every day. I don't need this, sir. Get up out my face. Get off my feed. I can't interact with you this much. And then the logic behind it, I was like, I get it, but that's such a masculine way to go about things. He was like, I post 16 times a day because if one post doesn't hit, I have 15 other shots. And I was like, or you could just see, hey, Sonia, or you can see what's working when you're posting all of those and only do that once a day, every other day. What? Like, you don't need to post that much. And I don't know who would be able to keep up with that unless you have a whole social media team. He doesn't have a whole team. He's doing that all himself. I'm like, sir, no, you like, when I tell y'all, I clutched my chest. If I had on pearls, they would have been, but I was like, absolutely not. So with that, your reflection for this one, because this is what I would want if I was interviewing him. This would be what I would ask him. What is it that you're missing? What is the blind spot that you're having that you feel like you need to create and have this like massive output? Yeah, I did. Sonia, I turned it off. I was like, I just can't. So when you're thinking about that, you have to think, what pattern are you missing? So if you're posting 16 times a day, that one post that hits every other day, what did that one do that the other ones didn't? Was it funny? Was it informative? Was it teaching someone something new? Was it like shifting a belief that someone's having? Is it showing your values as a person? Were you just having fun? Like, what was it that that post was doing? And do more of that. And once you do more of that and see that, okay, this is a pattern. Every time I do one of those, they slaps, like everyone loves it, then keep doing that and work that into your strategy. But like I said, we'll talk about strategy on day 2. So that's your reflection. What pattern are you missing? Because a lot of times with strategy, and the goal of this day is to show you guys the mistakes, because these are things like as a strategist that I look for. So I'll be like, okay, why? And these are things that I ask as a coach, because why are you posting that? Because sometimes you might have like a real reason why, which is perfectly fine. But if that reason why is tied to something that is not a part of your strategy to get sales in your business or to make your business grow, then you're kind of just doing it for no reason. Like if it's something that you love, we can work it in a different way. So it's all about getting creative. That's a lot, Bobby. Reiterating is key. It is. You got to teach people your patterns. Okay. Point number 2. And this one comes from a lot of different angles, and I'm going to explain it on both sides, because in some ways, sometimes you do have to do this, but most of the time, people's intentions and reasons why they're doing it is all fucking backwards. So the action is people focusing on their following, growing a big following. Like, I need to get more followers. I need to do this. I need to do that. I will say sometimes you do need more followers. I won't deny that. Sometimes you either need to refresh your audience. So if you can see that your account has plateaued, like you haven't gained any new followers, you're losing as fast as you're gaining. It's kind of like up and down. It's like, it's just level all the time, like a plateau. Then you need to refresh your audience. You need to start looking elsewhere. Or if you're just starting and you have absolutely no one to talk to, you're talking to your mom and your aunties and your 2 high school friends who knew that you started a new page, you got to go find some people. But this is where you get social. And I'm going to talk about this on day 2 when we talk about content, like connection content, how to attract people just by showing up and being yourself. But it's really important that I address this one because it is one of those ones that I'm like, sometimes I see people doing it. I'm like, you don't need to focus on that right now because you got plenty of people. Either you have to think, okay, have I had these people for a long time and they're not connecting with me anymore? Has my message changed? Have they just tuned out? Are these old ass accounts that are following me? Because it's weird to me when I see accounts that have huge followings, like say like 20K plus, and they're not getting any engagement. I'm like, you're following. I was about to say they're like dead. I don't like that. They're asleep. Your following is asleep. They're in a coma. They are not checking for you no more. Either you fell off and like ghosted them for a long time and then you're not in their algorithm like you used to be. It's not popping no more. Or they're just old accounts. It's like people who don't even use Instagram anymore. They all went over to TikTok because too many people were pointing at the air over here. They were like, I'm fed up. I'm going over here with the new girls. So it could be different things. So to test this, you need to see, Tiffany, it's okay. I'll show you how to do it. The thing is with your asleep followers, I keep thinking dead followers, with your followers who are asleep and your followers who are either like disengaged or they're like filler followers. So they are people who don't even care about what you're posting. So say for instance, these are like my friends from elementary school. If they're following me, they're like filler people. They're gonna like whatever I post. They're gonna follow stuff, but they're not my customers. They're going to support me. They might repost stuff in my stories, but they're not my customers. They're not my ideal clients. I don't even know what they do for a living. They're just not people who are going to be looking for me for these kind of answers. So when you're thinking about your following, and this is why at the top of this, I was like, you have to think about who are the right followers. And the reflection that I want you to think about this is really a lot of times when people are thinking about their followers, because there is, and this, I should have added this as a bonus, but this is like a messaging thing that is so like in the industry, like your business isn't about you, it's about your followers, it's about serving, but it is about you. It's about what you're passionate about, like what you want to do in the world, what you want to say. Like if you're speaking so much from what other people expect, they have the control. You don't have it anymore. And that is a fucking boundary that you need to get in place. If other people are dictating what you can and cannot say and how you can and cannot show up and what you should be talking about to them, there's something amiss. There's something going on. Because if I asked y'all, do y'all want me to snatch edges on Instagram? A lot of people would say no. Some people would be like, yes, Alana, sometimes I like it. But that's because you're my person. That's because you vibe. That is because you're in the right place. So if I'm not showing up authentically, the way that I speak, the way that I present, the way that I see value in the world, it's very hard for me to make that connection with you, for you to see the value. So the reflection on this one is, who do you want to follow you and what values do you have that you share with them? So, and this is what makes messaging a lot easier down the line. So say for instance, you love to travel, you are a foodie. I'm thinking about all my best friends. You like to go to brunch on Sundays. You like to step out and be cute sometimes, but most of the time you're in the house watching Netflix with your plants or your cat. These are things that are like values that you can share in content that will make actual connections with people. And then there are going to be some people that follow you because of the connection content. And then you warm them up to see like the value that you're providing with your product or service. Then there's going to be people who are the opposite, who see the value in your product or service. And then they're like, oh, but she's actually pretty dope because she's talking about this fabulous salmon that she cooked for dinner. I'm very hungry. I'm thinking about salmon for dinner for tonight. But people will connect with you on different ends. So the reflection for this is, who do you want to follow you and what values do you share with each other? And how can you show those and attract people in your content? So think of your followers as your friends. how do you present yourself to when you're making friends with people? Like, you don't come up to people and just be like selling them something immediately or telling them about random things that they don't care about. You have to think, where's the common ground? How can you filter that into your content? And you don't have to overshare. You don't have to undershare. Make it fit for you. But I'm going to talk about that in a second. So point number 4. Trying every damn content strategy and seeing what fits. And this is another one. I see both sides of it. And I will say when it can work and when it cannot. So there are times when you're starting out or when you're pivoting or you're going into a new audience where you do have to try new things. You have to be willing to experiment for a minute, but you have to be willing to experiment quickly and go through it, follow through with it for a second, stick with it. So kind of how Famira and Nia, they just went live before me and they were talking about like people trying strategies, 2 weeks, it doesn't work. And then they're like, all right, let's go to the next thing. What is old girl doing? What is this person saying? Like you got to stick with something for at least 90 days to see what happens. And if you can't stick with it for 90 days, if you get bored to tears with it, it's probably that you're not that inspired by it. So that's not going to be the one that works for you anyway. So say for instance, I'll use myself for example. If I absolutely hated going live, why would I deliver content in this way? I could do it a lot shorter. I could do pre-recorded videos, upload them to YouTube, or pre-record this and just post it to my page. I like to see you guys' comments because that gives me like, okay, what are they what are they feeling? What are they doing? How is this being received? Are they understanding? They can ask me questions. It gives me that feedback loop so much quicker because that's how I process content versus people who do reels. That's really short, really quick. Usually very funny, usually like very quick content. You know what I'm talking about. You know, I hate it, but it gives you quick fixes. And then there's like more content either in the caption or in the rest of their page. There's different ways to mix things up and keep things exciting. So if you're bored to tears with something after 90 days, I'll be like, okay, you gave it a fair shot. It's fine. If you're that bored with something after 2 weeks, we got to have a conversation about what it is that you're talking about. Because I've been talking about Instagram and strategy and getting your coins and doing the damn things for the girls. I've been talking about this for years. It's like almost 6 years now. I'm still talking about it because it matters to me. I want everyone to be out here shining. So find the things that matter to you and really stop trying to revise them and shift them and twerk with them and change things up before you even see what the fuck is going on, because you can't see it that quick. It would be, I'm trying to think of a good analogy for it, but it's kind of like if you rush. Okay, something that's very difficult, that's technical, that I'm still getting used to. I love cooking, but I am not a baker. Like I can't bake from scratch. I can cook from scratch. I don't need measuring cups. I can just boom, 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 boom. Baking is very technical. If you're trying to bake your first loaf of bread from scratch and have no idea what you're doing, that bread's gonna be fucked up. You need 90 days to get it together. You need 90 days to get the recipe right. Unless you're going from a tried and true passed down family recipe, and even then, it's still not gonna be right. So let your bread, let it rise. Let the dough rise at least. Get some butter on it, a little egg wash or something. Like get your groove together and then figure it out from there. So I'm getting worked up about these because I'm like, stop doing it. But this is why we have these conversations in a safe space. So with that, stop revising and shifting. Stop trying to play with things before you even see if they work. And this is one reason why with my new program, it's 6 months, because I want you to have that strategy and you get your whole intensive before you even go into the program. You get your intensive and you have time to play. And I literally have things built in now. Everyone who was in here who was in Women's Academy, this is like Women's Academy 2.0, but we have things called play dates now. So yeah, play dates are going to be like where we literally play with content, try things out, see what works, see what sticks. Everyone say bye to my mom. She's leaving. See what sticks and really have fun with it. Cause that's what I want you to do. The more fun you have with it, the more you want to show up, the more you want to present things to your audience, the more you want to talk about the things that inspire you, the things that you want to see in the world, the impact that you want to make. And if you don't have that, really, what is you doing? Going back to it, what is you doing? That the content is not the problem. That is something deep. So the reflection for this one. Oh, and also before, I actually have my computer in front of me today. I don't have my index card like I usually do. So before I move on from this one, I really do want to remind you guys, not even like a plug to be on my email list, but because I don't feel like explaining it again. If you get the workbook in my bio, this is like literally the first pillar on page 17, where you walk through like, what is it that you actually want to show up for? What do you want to talk about? What are you good at? So you can be on Instagram, not like showing off, flaunting and like bragging about what you got, but showing off like what you know and what your skill set is, and actually taking up space in the way that you are built to. So that is, I think it's like page 17 or something. Anywho, reflection on this is, how do you want to show up and what do you want to say? Like, what do you have to say? If it's something that is irrelevant to solving problems in the world, maybe save it for some other time. Make a private account, make a separate something for you. Maybe a Tumblr, maybe a blog, I don't know. But if it's not related to your business and the values of the people that you are serving, then think about how it relates to your values. And is it something that's valuable that people need to know more about, that you need to educate them on so that they know that they should care about this thing? Because sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're thinking steps ahead. Our people don't know what they need before they start working with us, because they see the surface level, they see the problems. We got to be the ones like giving these reflection questions, being like, what is behind this? Why are you showing up like this? Why does this seem valuable to you? Because for what you're telling me that you want, I could see why that seems valuable, but I'm gonna tell you something opposite, and it might fuck with you for a second, but I'm really telling you to get you to that next step. So final thing for today, point number 5. And this is one of the main things. This is why I used to sell content calendars, and now I only sell them if you get an intensive. But people are always. This is something that even as many times as I explain it, it's, unless you like work with me for a minute and you get it, because I'm thinking of Bianca. I don't think Bianca is here, but once I explained it to her, she was like, oh, wow. This is crazy. And she's one of the ones I remember after working with her, she was like, content is giving me a lot of like, it's making Instagram feel anxious to me. It's like giving me that like nervous energy. But now after working with you, I see how I can show up. I see how this is easy. Now I'm making content like this. I'm like, see, girl, it's not that hard. But number 5 is, you don't know what to post, so you're posting just to post. And that's trash. Like, first of all, it takes up too much time, but and this can show up in different ways. You're either posting everything, which kind of goes back to, oh boy, posting 16 times a day, or you're posting nothing at all. And both of those are bad. We want that happy medium. We want, what is it called? Oh, Bobby, Baby Bear, how Baby Bear had it just right. We want baby bear status. We want that thing that's like hidden, that's for us. And this usually happens when people are having, and this goes back to one of my other points, when it's kind of a cookie cutter strategy of doing exactly what someone tells you to do. Because even though I make content strategies, it's after me talking to you, processing, understanding what it is that you want to say, how you show up. But that's why I do intensives, because I can do it on my end really fast to talk you through it versus you trying to sit there and figure it out for months. I'll be like, which one? You want it in an afternoon, or you want to take 2 years to figure this out? It's not that hard. But what I'm saying is, when you are trying to decide what to post, overthinking it, either not posting or posting everything, there is a problem with strategy. There's a problem with messaging. There's a problem. It's so many underlying things that need to be addressed. But I just want to leave you guys with this. You don't have a problem with knowing what to post. Like, let's just get that out of your head. That's not the problem. So come back on Tuesday, day 2. We're going to address this problem. And I want to like ruin that for you forever. I never want you to ever think, I don't know what to post anymore. Because you're going to remember this and be like, Alana said, I know what to post. And now I know exactly what it is. So that can no longer be your excuse. So we're going to do that on Tuesday. But your reflection for that one, and this is like actual homework assignment. So if you're going to come back on Tuesday, which all of you should, because we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. I'm so hungry. So the reflection for this one, this is like actual homework assignment. So, and also in the workbook, I walk you through this and give you like little action steps so you can start sharing this with your audience and like get the ball rolling. So homework assignment is, what are little bitty pieces of your story that you can share? And if you need like different things on how you can do this, I just posted recently about being authentic on Instagram and sharing your story. So I talk about it more there. And I think I went live about that. I think I did. I think that was what I talked about last week. Anywho, I talk about it a lot, so I don't even remember. But think about what you can share, what you're comfortable sharing, what energy do you need to be in to share. So like when I go live, I don't go live every day. I'm not built that way. The girls who can, I'm like, thank God for you, because I cannot be up here in front of these people every single day like that. But I know how my energy needs to be before I go live. I need to go take my bath. I need to be in the water for like an hour. I need to have water on me. I'm a water baby. I'm a Pisces. So I know my energy. I need to take myself into a very relaxed state so I can come up here and be up with y'all. So before and after this, I am literally like waiting around, saving all of my energy for this very moment. So I can be like, hey y'all, this is what we're going to drag each other about today. So know your energy, really feel into that, know how you need to show up. But when you're saying that you don't know what to post and you're just kind of like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, it's a messaging problem for sure, but we're going to talk about that on Tuesday. And I am going to give you guys like go-to strategies. Like if that feeling ever even like gets into the back of your neck and you're like, nope, go back down. Alana said we already know what to post. You can literally go to the notes that you take from this live and be like, okay, this one, maybe I don't feel like posting that today. Maybe that's not the right energy for today. Because you can feel the energy from your audience if you're interacting with them a lot. So you know what to post. You know when to drag people. You know when to calm down. You know when to be nurturing. You know when to connect, when to be vulnerable. There are different times to have different energies with your audience. And that's why I do like working with women so much, because our energy literally shifts with our cycles every single month. I might not be in an energetic space. I know that I can never do this live series the week before I'm about to be on the floor in the bed. Like, no, I can't, because I'm literally like, I am in a bad mood today. And I wouldn't want to show you guys that side of me. I have to wait until things are over and I could be like, hey, I'm here. And I understand that with my clients as well. So if something's not showing up, I'm like, what's going on? I can feel it. What's happening? What, tell me. We don't have to tell everyone, but what's up? Oh, got it. Okay, cool. You can lay low this week. We can do something else next week. We can do more passive stuff this week, just so your audience isn't like, where did she go? So what we're going to go over for day 2, because those are my 5 points for today. You guys survived. You got to the end through the whole dragging ceremony. Day 2, we're talking about content and messaging. The things that actually, because a lot of times people think with content strategy that content is the strategy. I'm like, nah, content is the car that your message goes into to go around to people. So think of it that way. Content is carrying it for you. It's taking it where it needs to go. Content, it can get out in so many different ways. Different kinds of content can deliver your message, but the messaging is like the main thing that we need to get down. So we're going to be talking about content, but very much so know that it is about messaging. I think that's all for today. I'm gonna leave you guys alone now. But remember to get the workbook for Tuesday, because I'll be able to tell if y'all don't have it. Because there are things that are in there where I say, tag me if you've done this. Let me know when you get to this part. Send me any questions that you have. There are different parts like that will walk you through, and I'll be able to tell if you guys know what I'm talking about, because I won't be answering everything. I'll be walking you guys through the method, being like, okay, this is in part 1, this is part 2, part 3, and if you need to know, it comes on page 17. The book is kind of long, it's like 40 pages, but when I start talking about the work method, which is my strategy, and sometimes people ask me, what does work stand for? Because I capitalize it. Doesn't stand for anything. The word work is just lit. Look up what work means. WERK. But yeah, get the workbook. I will see you guys Tuesday. Any questions or anything that you need me to clarify, or something as far as content and messaging that you want me to dive deeper in? Like, I started this whole thing with the questions that I got from my email list. Let me know and I'll be sure to address those on live. I got to most of the ones today, and if they weren't today, then they'll be in the subsequent days. But Tuesday, March 8th, 5:30 my time, Pacific time, Los Angeles time. That is when I'll be back. And just a heads up for everyone who has asked about intensives and what that entails. Everything's at the link in my bio. Y'all know I come on live and I talk, but if I have already posted information somewhere, I will send you the link to it. So that is all the information in my bio. The workbook's there, intensive bookings are there. If you want to get a head start on applying for the Flourish and Creative Accelerator, all of that is up there. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend and thank you for being here. All right, bye.